Hey you guys, it is August 7th today, and it's a very special day to me because Clarence, my dog, turns 2 today. So I just kind of wanted to celebrate that by doing a little adoption story about how Clarence came into my life. I will be doing one of these for my cat Annabelle as well in the future, but for right now, since it's his birthday, I'll do his story and I'll show you guys what I got him for his birthday. So I knew about a year and a half ago that I wanted to have a dog come into my life. I was ready for a dog. I'd had Annabelle for a year, and it was time to go ahead and get a dog and bring him in, and I had some time. So I decided that I was going to go look through all the shelters that are local to me. So I met up with one of my friends, Alexis, and we went out and we scouted these cool dogs. We went to all the shelters. And then we drove, it was like an hour or so out of our way to go see this Australian Shepherd dog in St. Cloud. And, I got there and the dog was totally different from what was described. Australian Shepherds are typically about 40, 45 pounds, full grown. And this dog was 80 pounds. And it was the last stop of the day. We had been to 5 different places, and I was just kind of tired of being disappointed by what was advertised not matching up with the dog that I met. And even though the dogs that I met were really sweet, none of them felt like the right dog for me. So on the way back, Alexis was like, hey, we should stop in and we should go look at puppies at the puppy store real quick, just to kind of cheer me up because I was pretty down. So we stopped at a local pet store and there was this dog on clearance. So I was like, I asked the people that work there, I was like, hey, what's up with the clearance dog? And they're like, oh, no, you don't want that dog. You don't want him. He's trouble. We call him Trouble. And I was like, thinking to myself, what a horrible thing for people that are trying to sell a dog to call this dog Trouble. So anyway, I asked to see the dog, and they reluctantly brought him out to me. And he was just this crazy ball of energy. They could barely hold him. He was 5 months old, so he was a lot bigger than the other dogs that were there. And they put him in this playroom with me, and he immediately broke out of the playroom and was running around the entire store and just terrorizing the place. So obviously I knew this dog was going to be a handful, but I always love a challenge, so something about him really appealed to me, and I just kind of knew. I was like, this dog is special. I really like him. So I texted Brandon and I told him about this crazy dog that I had met, and yeah, he was like, that's a terrible idea. You live in an apartment. You can't get a hyper dog. And I don't know, I haven't had this channel for very long, so you guys don't know a whole lot about me yet, but I'm pretty stubborn for the most part, so when I decide something's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. So anyway, I waited a few days and I thought about it, and it was day 3 or 4 that came along, and I decided, I know this dog's coming from a pet store, but he's 5 months old. They give them up for adoption at 6 months old here if nobody buys them because they're no longer as profitable, which is terrible, by the way. And I really regret buying him from a pet store a lot of times. It wasn't the best decision, but I'm glad I have the dog that I have. But anyway, so I go down to the pet store. I'm like, hey guys, I'm going to give you $100 for this dog, and you're going to give him to me, and I'll make sure that he gets a good home with me. I will train him up and take care of him. And I'm like, that's the way it's gonna be. So somehow the manager went down from they had a stupid high, $700 asking price. And I was like, no, I'm gonna give you $100 and you're gonna give me this dog. So they did, although I ended up having to pay an AKC registration fee, which was annoying because I never got the papers, because I'm damn convinced he came from some awful place where they're not affiliated with the AKC. But anyway, that's a whole other story, and it makes me angry, and I want to be happy. So I come home with this dog, and Brandon meets me at home after I pick him up, and I lived on the 3rd floor at the time with open-faced stairs. So I try to get him to go up the stairs, and he absolutely will not go. And he's like running around like crazy. He almost broke off of his leash. And I started to kind of think to myself, what did I just get myself into? Sorry about that, my battery died. But anyways, so yeah, we take him home and he can't go up the stairs, and Brandon is totally losing his shit, like, sorry, he's totally freaking out because he's like, hey, what did you do? What did you get yourself into? Like, this is never going to work. But, you know, at this point I was still pretty convinced that I could make it work with enough time. So anyway, fast forward to like 2 weeks later, the dog hasn't calmed down at all. He's just as crazy as before. He's broken his leash once because he just runs so fast, like it completely snaps off. And he's not listening, like he's having bad separation anxiety, not like horrible, but you know, like he's very upset when I leave him alone. And he's peeing all over my house. He's not chewing anything, thank God. He was not a destructive dog. Like, he was really good about that. So, anyway, yeah. 2 weeks later, and Brandon and I were kind of starting to think, like, maybe we should look for a better home for him. Like, maybe, you know, everybody was right, and I really am not fit to be doing this, and the apartment isn't the best home for him. So, we started looking for somebody to adopt him. And I was just devastated throughout the whole process. We took him to see 2 different families. So the first family, he stayed overnight. Basically, they called us in the morning and they're like, come get this beast. So I'm not going to say who they are because they are somewhat, you know, they're known to us. They're not like friends or anything, but they're known to us, so I don't want to insult anybody. But basically, like, we quickly found out that's not going to be a good solution because they're not super experienced with dogs. And then we had this other family that was supposed to meet him a couple days later. And Brandon and I, we were sitting in the car because, of course, we're going to meet them in a dog park. We want to see how they handle him. We're sitting in the car and we are just bawling our eyes out at this sweet dog who just in between us, like licking our faces, and we're just crying so hard. It was so sad. And they never showed up. So it was kind of that night I realized, and I talked to Brandon and I was like, I can't give up this dog. Like, I'm attached at this point. Like, I will figure out a way to make it work for the both of us, for me and the dog. So I kind of cracked down, and I started, and this isn't a good idea, and this is why you should think about, like, the sacrifices you have to make for a dog. But anyway, I started skipping classes and, like, staying home and trying to study at home so that I could spend more time with him and train him and, you know, try to bring him up to speed on all of the training that he had missed. Because I don't know if I mentioned this, but he was 5 months old when I got him, and he had just lived his entire life in a cage. So, not a great way to be raised, and definitely doesn't produce a well-behaving dog. So anyway, yeah, I started spending all my time at home and training him, and it took like a good 3 or 4 months, but I finally started to really see a difference. Like, he was definitely a different dog. He hadn't really calmed down a lot, like he still had a lot of energy, but I found good ways to kind of outlet that energy. So it was at the point where Brandon and I were discussing moving in together. And Clarence had pretty well been potty trained. So, you know, we brought him over, we watched how he did, and he did great. Like, he was awesome there. He would just kind of relax and lay down on this recliner, actually back here. That was the dog's recliner before it came into my room. Don't worry, I got him new beds, so he's cool. But anyway, yeah, like, he did really, really well at Brandon's place. And after about a month, we started phasing him out of the crate, and there was like 1 or 2 accidents, but that was it. And for the most part, you know, it was me. I was starting to work more often, so he was just now starting to go through like almost a full day of work where he didn't have a chance to use the bathroom. So I understood that, like, of course it's gonna happen. But anyway, there was like a dog park downstairs. There were other dogs in the apartment complex, so he had dogs to play with, and there was outlets for the energy. And that was kind of the point where there was a really sharp turnaround, and I started to see how much at this point it had been, you know, a good 7-8 months of training was really doing for us. Then Brandon and I, when his lease came up, to an end, we decided that we were going to get a house, because walking up 3 flights of stairs when the apartments have vaulted ceilings is tiring, to say the least. So yeah, we decided we were going to get a house with a backyard and a pool, which is how we ended up at this place, and things have just improved exponentially since we got here. His energy level is so much more manageable. We let him go swimming on, like, basically as much as, well, not as much as he wants, because if it were up to him, he would go swimming literally every day. But we let him go swimming, you know, like a couple times a week, and he has a yard to run in the back of, and he just, like, it's a really great house for him, and he's turned into such a nice dog now. So he knows all the commands now: sit, stay, lay down. He knows, we call it paw, but it's basically the equivalent of a doggy handshake. And then, because our backyard, at first, like, there was no grass there, so every time it would rain, which it does a lot in Florida, every time it would rain and he'd go out, his paws would get all muddy. So obviously I don't want that, like, trekked in through the house, so I taught him how to wipe his feet. So he knows wipe as well, and I'll get a video of that later because it's pretty cute. But anyways, so he's turned into such a good dog at this point, and I know I couldn't imagine my life without him, and I know Brandon is the same way. Like, we love him so much. So basically, if you're thinking of adding a dog to your life, just try to realize how much time it really does take, and don't let, you know, if it's something you know you are really ready for and that you can afford, because, like, a couple months in, Clarence got into some bad things, and that was a $1,200 visit, which was, like, way out of my price range. Brandon helped me out because he's a wonderful, loving boyfriend, and we got the dog taken care of. But anyway, so if you know, like, the financial expenses that it's going to take, and the time that it's going to take, and the sacrifices that you're going to have to make to take care of a dog, then go for it if you're really ready for it. They are amazing, amazing companions, and you will get, you know, like 5, 6, a billion times more love out of them than you put in. Although you should put in as much as you can. But anyway, they're really wonderful companions to have around, and I recommend them for every family. And he's my first lab. I grew up with Border Collies and Australian Shepherds, and he's my first lab, and I've got to say, I kind of love the breed. I didn't get it when I was younger. I was like, oh, they've got wrinkly faces, and all they want to do is chase a ball. But no, they're so loving, and they're so caring. So anyway, I hope you guys kind of like this video. I'm going to put some footage here at the end of, like, Clarence growing up, so there'll be some video and some pictures, and it'll be really nice. Anyways, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and if you haven't already, subscribe if you want to, thumbs up if you liked it, and stay tuned, because there will be an Annabelle adoption story coming up soon. Anyways, I hope you guys have a really great day. Bye.
No, 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 no.
Where's that ball? Come here.
The ball.
Where's that ball? Go get that ball. No, let's get that ball. Go get it. Where is it? Go over there and go get it. All right. Good job, puppy.
Oh, Clarence, did you get a new critter? Did you get a new critter? Here you go. And the critter's dead. Poor critter. He is a goofy dog. He's a goofy goober.
rolls.
It's Clarence's first birthday, so I got him this awesome birthday cookie, and as you can tell, he's not excited at all about it. I don't even know if he's gonna eat it. Alright, Clarence, are you ready? Happy birthday! Yay! There we go, that's a happy dog.
Get. Oh, somebody got their toy.
You like your hammock, Clarence? Like your hammock? I think that's pretty good.
Come on in. Up. Hey, wipe. Wipe your toes. Yes, wipe. Are you done? We love our Brandon. Yeah, we do. We sure do. We love our Brandon.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear puppy. Happy birthday to you. And many more. And Kit Kats. Alright, we made it to 2 years old. Yeah, eat it. Watch him not even like it. That's okay, I know something you will like. Or not, maybe he's still interested in the food. Pop, pop. Want a toy? Oh, you better sit. Lay down. Hey, no, come here. Come here, sit. Lay down. Lay down. Sit up. Oh, you already knew. Handshakes. There you go. Okay, well at least he liked one gift. He wants to try to like that. Aw, happy birthday, puppy.